Dogs are amazing. They're loyal, loving, and often feel like part of the family. But for years, people have believed things about dogs that just aren't true. These myths have been passed down from grandparents, cartoons, and even dog parks. And while some of them sound harmless, they can actually affect how we treat and understand our furry friends. So today, we're busting 7 of the most popular dog myths and showing you what's really going on inside a dog's mind. Let's start with one of the biggest myths out there, the idea that dogs only see in black and white. It's a belief that's been around for decades. People imagine dogs living in a dull, colorless world, but that's not true. Dogs do see color, just not the same way humans do. While humans have 3 types of color receptors in their eyes, dogs have 2. That means they can see shades of blue and yellow, but red and green look more like gray or brown to them. So, no, they won't admire a rainbow the way we do, but they definitely don't live in a black and white movie. What's even cooler is that dogs have better motion detection and night vision than humans. That's because their eyes are built for hunting and survival. So, while they might not notice your red shirt, they'll spot a squirrel darting across the yard in a split second. Now, let's talk about tails. Everyone thinks a wagging tail means a happy dog. It's the classic sign of joy, right? But here's the twist. A wagging tail doesn't always mean happiness. In fact, tail wagging is a complex form of communication. Dogs use their tails to show excitement, nervousness, fear, and even aggression. The position and speed of the wag matter a lot. A high, stiff wag could mean the dog is alert or feeling threatened. A low, slow wag might show insecurity. And get this, dogs tend to wag more to the right when they're happy and to the left when they're stressed. So if you really want to understand your dog, don't just look at the tail. Pay attention to their ears, eyes, and posture. That's where the real story is. Here's another myth that's been around forever. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. It sounds catchy, but it's totally wrong. Dogs of all ages can learn new things. Sure, puppies might pick up commands faster because they're still developing habits. But older dogs can absolutely learn, especially if you use positive reinforcement. That means rewarding good behavior with treats, praise, or playtime. In fact, older dogs often have better focus and patience than young ones. They're not as easily distracted, and they've already learned how to live in a human world. So, if you've got a senior pup, don't give up on training. It's never too late to teach them something new. Let's move on to guilt. You've probably seen those viral videos of dogs looking guilty after chewing up a shoe or knocking over the trash. Their heads are down, their eyes are wide, and they look like they know they messed up. But here's the truth. Dogs don't feel guilt the way humans do. What they're actually doing is reacting to your body language. They see that you're upset and they respond with submissive behavior. That lowered head and sad eyes are their way of saying, please don't be mad. It's not guilt. It's fear or confusion. So next time your dog gives you that guilty look, remember they're just trying to calm you down. Punishing them after the fact won't help because they don't connect the punishment with what they did earlier. Instead, focus on training and prevention. Now let's tackle the myth about grass. People often think dogs eat grass because they're sick. And yes, sometimes dogs do eat grass to soothe an upset stomach, but that's not the only reason. Some dogs just like the taste or texture. Others do it out of boredom or habit. In the wild, dogs ate a variety of plants along with meat, so grass isn't that strange to them. Veterinarians say that occasional grass eating is normal and usually harmless. But if your dog is eating a lot of grass and throwing up often, it's worth checking with a vet. The key is to look at the bigger picture, how your dog is acting overall. Here's a myth that affects how people choose their pets. The idea that purebred dogs are smarter than mixed breeds. It sounds logical, right? Purebreds are often trained for specific tasks, like herding or hunting. But intelligence in dogs is more complicated than that. Studies have shown that mixed breeds can be just as smart or even smarter than purebreds. That's because genetic diversity can lead to better problem solving skills. Mixed breeds often have fewer inherited health problems too. So if you're thinking about getting a dog, don't assume a purebred will be easier to train or more intelligent. Every dog is unique, and their personality matters more than their pedigree. Finally, let's bust the myth about dominance. For years, people believed that dogs misbehave because they're trying to dominate their owners. That led to harsh training methods like alpha rolls and leash jerks. But modern dog psychology tells a different story. Most behavior problems come from fear, anxiety, or confusion, not a desire to take control. Dogs thrive on clear communication and consistency. They want to feel safe and understood. Using force or intimidation can damage the bond between you and your dog. Instead, focus on building trust. Use rewards, routines, and gentle guidance. That's how you become a true leader in your dog's eyes. Not by being the alpha, but by being the one they trust most. Another common myth is that dogs are pack animals who need to be around other dogs to be happy. While it's true that dogs are social creatures, the idea that they require a pack of other dogs to thrive is misleading. Dogs are incredibly adaptable, and their strongest social bond is often with humans, not other dogs. In fact, many dogs prefer the company of people over their own species. This comes from thousands of years of domestication, where dogs evolved alongside humans and learned to read our emotions, routines, and even facial expressions. Some dogs do enjoy playing with other dogs, especially if they were socialized early, but others may feel anxious or overwhelmed in group settings. So if your dog isn't the life of the dog park, that's okay. What matters most is the quality of their social interactions, not the quantity. Let's talk about sleeping positions. There's a myth that if a dog sleeps on its back with its belly exposed, it means they're hot or uncomfortable. But in reality, this position often signals trust and relaxation. When a dog shows its belly, it's exposing its most vulnerable area. That means they feel safe in their environment. Dogs that sleep curled up tightly might be conserving warmth or feeling a bit more cautious. So the way your dog sleeps can actually tell you a lot about how they're feeling emotionally. It's a subtle but powerful form of communication. And just like humans, dogs have favorite sleeping spots and positions that change with age, mood, and even the weather. Here's a myth that can lead to misunderstandings. The idea that growling is always a sign of aggression. Many people panic when a dog growls thinking it's about to attack, but growling is actually a form of communication. It's a warning signal that says, I'm uncomfortable, or please give me space. Dogs growl to set boundaries, not to pick fights. Ignoring a growl or punishing a dog for growling can backfire because it teaches the dog that it's not safe to express discomfort. That's when dogs may skip the warning and go straight to biting. Instead, listen to the growl. Try to understand what's causing the stress. Is it a stranger, a loud noise, or maybe a toy being taken away? Respecting the growl helps build trust and prevents bigger problems down the line. Now let's bust the myth that dogs should be punished for bad behavior immediately, or they won't learn. This belief comes from outdated training methods that rely on discipline and fear. But modern dog psychology shows that punishment often confuses dogs more than it teaches them. Dogs learn best through positive reinforcement, rewarding the behavior you want to see more of. If a dog chews your shoe, yelling at them won't help unless you catch them in the act. Even then, it's better to redirect them to a chew toy and praise them when they use it. Dogs don't understand punishment the way humans do. They live in the moment. So timing, tone, and consistency are everything. The goal isn't to scare them, it's to guide them. Here's one that's especially common among new dog owners: the myth that dogs should be bathed frequently to stay clean. While cleanliness is important, overbathing can actually harm a dog's skin and coat. Dogs have natural oils that protect their skin and keep their fur healthy. Bathing too often strips those oils away, leading to dryness, irritation, and even infections. Most dogs only need a bath every few weeks, unless they've rolled in something nasty. And when you do bathe them, use a dog specific shampoo. Human shampoos can be too harsh and mess with their pH balance. Grooming, brushing, and wiping down with a damp cloth are often enough to keep your dog fresh between baths. So there you have it. Dog myths that are totally wrong. Dogs are complex, emotional, and incredibly smart. They don't see the world in black and white. They don't wag their tails just because they're happy. They can learn at any age, and they don't feel guilt the way we do. They eat grass for all kinds of reasons. And mixed breeds can be just as brilliant as purebreds. Most importantly, they don't need to be dominated. They need to be understood. If you've ever believed one of these myths, don't worry. Most people have. But now that you know the truth, you can treat your dog with even more love and respect. And that's what being a great pet owner is all about.